Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about the top 10, my personal favorite top 10 heel turns in WWE history. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the term heel, it means that it is a beloved wrestler who is currently a babyface and has decided to join the other side, that has decided to become a bad guy and become a very hated individual, that being a heel. So this is going to be a top 10 list. I narrowed it down to some of my personal favorite heel turns in WWE history. First one I'm going to start out with is Bob Backlund snaps and attacks Bret Hart with a crossface chicken wing. Now, this match, Bret Hart versus Bob Backlund for the WWF Championship, was on a random episode in the summer of '94 on WWF Superstars. And this match is very, very underrated. Dare I say it's somewhat forgotten. And these guys, they went out there and they had a technical classic. Bret Hart showed in this match why he can even hang with someone much older than him, with the likes of Bob Backlund in this case. So Backlund was going into this match very confident, and he really, really, truly believed that he was going to become the WWF champion after being away for almost a decade, I believe it was. Yeah, so in this one, Backlund was the more experienced of the two as far as ring experience goes, and Bret was just a master technician, just going in there and wrestling Backlund hold for hold, move for move. The end came when Bret got the victory and scored the upset win over Bob Backlund, and then Bret would extend his hand for a handshake, and Backlund, he just looked at Bret and he just slapped him hard across the face, and then he just took him down in that painful cross-face chicken wing submission hold. Just snapped, and he was like screaming at the top of his lungs, like yeah, like screaming, and he was just punishing Bret Hart. And it took a while for him to get the move off of Bret, and then after he finished releasing the move, he just stops for a second and stares at his hands like this, like he's conflicted, like he's trying to say, what have I done? Yeah, but this was very well done, I think, and definitely on my top 10 list as one of the most exciting heel turns in WWE history. Bob Backlund snaps on Bret Hart. July of '94, WWF Superstars. Okay, coming at number 9, Randy Orton RKO's Edge and takes him out with a concerto. Now, this would happen on the episode of Raw right after the 2020 edition of the Royal Rumble. And this was a big surprise to everyone, being that Edge came back and he made his return to the WWE after being away for almost a decade, 9 years to be exact. And Edge would come back and he would have an outstanding performance in the Royal Rumble. And then he came out to the ring the next night on Raw. Even though he didn't win the Royal Rumble, the fans were happy to see him and were happy that he came back to wrestling and everything after being away for so long. And he tells a story about what led him to come back and how he persevered, and he has grit on his side and with the support of the fans and all those things he talks about. He talks about his career, how far it went, and how he never got to finish it on his terms as he had to retire unexpectedly. And then we hear Randy's music hit, and then Randy Orton comes out, and he said to Edge, it's good to have him back, and something along the lines of they're like brothers, and how about putting R-rated RKO back together one more time. And before Edge could respond to him, you just see Orton just drop this man, boom, with an RKO like right in front of his face. He just grabbed him and he just like dropped him with the RKO. And then Randy, he was being conflicted, and the crowd, they was just all over Randy, you know, typical heel Randy, you know, he was being conflicted. And then he went outside and he got two chairs. He laid Edge face first on the mat, slid one underneath Edge's face while Edge was like this down on the mat, and then held another chair like this, and he just said boom. And the crowd was just invested in that moment, and Randy got a lot of heat for that. And by the way, this happened just several weeks before the pandemic hit. This happened in early 2020. And it was like just probably like a month and a half later, the pandemic really hit and everything got shut down. The fans couldn't attend any events for a couple of years. And yeah, this is like right before the pandemic happened. One of the greatest crowd reactions ever in history. Okay, coming at number 8. Andre the Giant rips the Hulkamania shirt and challenges Hulk Hogan to a match at WrestleMania 3. This took place on an episode of Wrestling Challenge in February of 1987. To our surprise, we see Andre the Giant come out with Bobby the Brain Heenan, who is now apparently managing Andre the Giant while Hulk Hogan was on on Piper's Pit, being interviewed by Roddy Piper. And then after that we would see Andre and Heenan come out, and to the surprise of the crowd and the surprise of Hogan, Heenan is in Andre's corner, and then Andre would just say, listen to me what I'm telling you. I'm challenging you for a world championship match at WrestleMania. And then Hulk Hogan, he's in disbelief. He can't believe what Andre's saying to him. And then Bobby Heenan went around to say, well, Hogan, he was also saying, no, Andre, we can't fight. We're friends, Andre, please. And then Bobby the Brain Heenan proceeds to say, you can't believe it, Hogan? Maybe you can believe this. And then Andre just rips the shirt off of Hulk Hogan, rips the red and the yellow right off Hulk Hogan. And then Hulk Hogan, he's left in shock, and Andre and Heenan, they walk away. And Hulk Hogan is in disbelief. And then he's just like looking down at him. And Roddy Piper noticed that when Andre ripped the shirt off, part of the crucifix, I think, also got pulled. So Hulk Hogan had blood coming down from his chest. And in that, Piper kept asking him, will you face Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3? And then Hulk Hogan, to the delight of the crowd, says, yes, I will, yes. So that set the tone for one of the greatest moments in WrestleMania history right here on this episode of Wrestling Challenge in February of 1987. Okay, coming in at number 7, I have Rick Martel walks out on Tito Santana from WrestleMania 5 in April of 1989. Wow. Now, in this matchup, it was Strikeforce, Tito Santana, and Rick Martel taking on the Brainbusters, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson. There was a miscommunication during the match. It was a pretty good match. It was going really good. And then we see Santana attempt the flying forearm. I think it was on either Tully or Arn. I can't remember which one. And he missed. And he just nailed Martel right in the kisser. And Martel went flying. And then that upset Martel. And he just lingered around on the ring apron all night. And while Tully and Arn were just beating the heck out of Tito, Martel was just there selling the blow like crazy. It's like the worst thing that ever happened to him. Like, this guy looked like he was about to pass out. The way he kept holding his face and like motioning like this, you thought he was like really hurt, like he got his teeth knocked down his throat or something. And then when Tito happened to counter at least one maneuver and he reached for the tag, Martel jumped off the ring apron and he walked away. And while he's walking away, he's going like this. And then Tully and Arn hit this devastating maneuver on Tito, the spike pile driver, where you pick up your opponent in the pile driving position. One guy jumps to the rope and he drives the legs down, and then the opponent's head goes down into the mat. Tito's head hit that mat pretty hard, and the Brainbusters would win this match. And then in the end, we would see Mean Gene Okerlund backstage interviewing Rick Martel. And then Martel candidly said he's sick and tired of Tito Santana, who wants to ride his coattails. And you're lucky, me being the gentleman that I am, that I just walked away. I'm fed up. I'm tired of you. I'm fed up of you, Tito Santana. I'm tired of you. I didn't want to bring the team back, but Mr. Tito wants to ride my coattails. And I'm tired of you, Tito. I'm fed up with you. And then Mean Gene Okerlund was just disgusted, and then so was Gorilla Monsoon on the commentary. Yeah, he was shocked, and then Gorilla said, you don't settle stuff out there as a professional. You do it backstage, away from the ring, outside of the ring. And then Jesse Ventura was defending Martel, and he was saying, yes, but rules are made to be broken, or something along those lines. I remember him saying, but yeah, this was very interesting. You know, it's just very interesting, like how all these heel turns are set up differently. You know, it's a story that's behind it. So there you go. That's my number 7 choice. Coming in at number 6, Stone Cold Steve Austin sells out to Vince McMahon. WrestleMania 17, April of 2001. Oh my gosh, this match was Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock for the WWF Championship at WrestleMania 17 in Houston, Texas. At the, I think at the time it was called the Astrodome. Yeah, so everyone knows the backstory about this match. We saw Vince McMahon coming down looking to get involved in somewhere. You know, he started going after The Rock, and then The Rock chased him around the ring a couple of times and eventually got his hands on him. But then during this time, that gave Austin the distraction to lower the boom on The Rock and continued the assault on The Rock. And then next thing you know, we see Vince McMahon, shockingly to everyone's dismay, toss a steel chair in the ring and gives it to Austin. And then JR and Paul Heyman were on the commentary, and JR is like in disbelief. He's like, what the hell? He's like, what? He's talking to Austin or something like that. And then McMahon would get in there and he would hold up The Rock so Austin could like level him with a chair. And then Austin with numerous chair shots like a freaking railroad spike. He pounding The Rock with the steel chair and eventually got the pin in this no disqualification match. And then afterwards we see the handshake and the hug between the evil owner, Mr. McMahon, and the former anti-authority now, Stone Cold Steve Austin. JR was just flipping out on the commentary. He's like, Austin, what the hell are you doing? You sold your soul to Satan himself. Tell me why. Tell me why this is not happening, damn it. And JR was just losing his cool. And this came as a shock to me watching this, man. I was like, wow, in disbelief. But what a tremendous match between Austin and The Rock, with Austin turning heel at the end of this one. Okay, my number 5th choice, Shawn Michaels super kicks Hulk Hogan on the July 4th, 2005 edition of Monday Night Raw. Now, the story here, earlier in the night on that episode of Raw, we saw an episode of Carlito's Cabana with a special guest Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was getting, Carlito was getting fresh with Hulk Hogan, making all these comments about his daughter, how Brooke is hot, Carlito's cool, blah, 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 and, you know, he's gonna do this with her, that with her. And then Kurt Angle would join in on the conversation and said, Hulk Hogan, the only person I want to make tap out is your daughter, Brooke. And that incensed Hulk Hogan, and he attacked Carlito, and then Kurt beat down Hogan, and then Shawn Michaels would come to the rescue, setting up a tag team match later on in the night with those two teams against each other. Eventually, Hogan and Shawn Michaels would get the win. Hulk Hogan with the big leg drop on Carlito and gets the pin. And then they were posing, you know, Hogan's doing his thing like this, like that, and Shawn Michaels is also joining him and posing. And next thing you know, out of nowhere, it's like, boom, super kick right to the face of Hulk Hogan. And at that very moment, when that super kick hit Hulk Hogan right in the chin, it's like everything stopped. You just saw, if you go back and look at that, you see the people in the audience, they just froze. At the very moment, as soon as Shawn Michaels' foot caught Hogan in the jaw and Hogan fell backward, it's like they just froze. Everyone just froze. And Shawn Michaels just stood there in the ring, just looking down with this hateful, passionate look on his face on Hulk Hogan. Shawn Michaels is just looking at him, looking down at him like this. One of the best heel turns I ever saw. Okay, coming in my number 4 pick from that very same year, Eddie Guerrero betrays Rey Mysterio on the May 2005 edition of SmackDown. Wow, they've been building this since earlier in the year, at least for 5 or 6 months. We saw some friendly competition between Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero at the beginning of the year on SmackDown, then at WrestleMania. And then eventually they would have their problems and their disagreements where they ended up losing the tag team championship to the hot new up and coming team of Eminem, Johnny Nitro, Jerry Mercury, managed by Melina. And yeah, so all of a sudden, Rey Mysterio found himself in a street fight against Chavo Guerrero, and then at the end of it all, Rey would win the match, and then you have Eminem will come out and attack Rey Mysterio. And then Eddie Guerrero comes out and he cleans house on Eminem while Chavo escaped. And then you would see Eddie helping Rey up, trying to say, all right, amigo, it's okay. We're friends. I'm here for you. I'm your brother. Then when he picks him up, shakes his hand, hugs him, when just at the moment you think all is well, you see Eddie Guerrero, boom, clotheslines Rey Mysterio, and then puts the boots to him, throws him out of the ring, long darts him like this, boom, into the ring post. And then afterwards, you saw Eddie rip the mask halfway of Rey Mysterio after opening him up, busting him open with the long dart move into the post. And then right there, we see Eddie pick Rey up like this, and he dropped him with a brain buster. And the impact of that brain buster, oh my gosh, it was amazing just to hear that. And then that episode of SmackDown went off the air with Eddie just staring into the camera and just shaking with hate and vengeance at what he just did to Rey Mysterio. Left the announcers in shock. Okay, my number 3 pick. Owen Hart betrays Bret Hart at the Royal Rumble in 1994. Now, the build to this began about 2 months earlier at the Survivor Series in 93 when they had a miscommunication during a match, Bret and Owen. And then later on, over the holidays, the Hart brothers, Bret and Owen, they reunited. So what a better way to reunite and go after the tag team champions, the Quebecers, and prove your allegiances with one another by fighting for the tag titles against Jacques and Pierre, the Quebecers, at the 1994 Royal Rumble. Wow, this match was awesome. The Quebecers, they worked on Bret's leg. They were just beating the tar out of Bret's leg and just like torturing this guy. It got to the point where the referee ended up stopping the match, and Owen was so upset. This was his chance to capture his first ever championship in WWE, and because the referee stopped the match and awarded the match to the Quebecers because Bret was unable to continue, that incensed Owen. Owen was so upset. Towards the end, Bret is struggling to get up to his feet, and Owen is just like standing there looking at him. And then as soon as Bret limps, climbs up to his feet, Owen Hart just turns around and kicks his brother right in the leg, and he goes down. And then you see Owen Hart just flipping out. And then while he's going back to the dressing room, he has a few words for the camera. He says, all you want to do is put your sharpshooter on. I know you had a bad leg. All you had to do was tag me. All you had to do was tag, but you're too damn selfish. And Vince McMahon was just flipping out on the commentary and said he can't believe those remarks. And then backstage, Todd Pettengill tries to interview Owen, and Owen says, Bret Hart, you're nothing but a selfish person. I went in there for the biggest match of my life, and I felt like I had the best partner in the world, my own brother. Obviously, you had the championship before. You doesn't care. You don't care about me. All you want to do is put your sharpshooter on, and I'm gonna win the Royal Rumble tonight. And that's why you're sitting there with a bad leg, and that's why I kicked your leg out of your leg. That comment just it's just crazy how Owen said that. You kicked your leg out of. I kicked your leg out of your leg, and that comment just sticks with me to this day. Yeah, but very well done setting up the future matches for the two brothers that year. Coming up at WrestleMania and then at SummerSlam in that classic WrestleMania match and then a classic cage match later on in the year. So this one is definitely in my top three here. Coming in at number two from the same year, 1994, Tatanka sells out to the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Oh my gosh, Tatanka had everyone fooled. Tatanka was doing the finger pointing game at Lex Luger. He would come down to the ring, come down to the locker room at convenient times, just when it appeared that DiBiase and Luger was doing business. But it was all a way to mislead people and make them think that Luger sold out. So during this matchup here, Ted DiBiase would come to ringside. This was a very competitive match, and it looked like he was more motioning towards Lex Luger's corner. Lex turns around, sees him. DiBiase goes to the ring apron, has money in his hand, tries to give it to Luger. It goes into the ring, but Luger kicks it out of his hand, and then Tatanka from the back with a roll up and gets the pin. And then after that, we see. Tatanka gets the win, and then Lex Luger's questioning him. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? And then Tatanka's like, it looks like he's saying, hey, it's a chance to win. So, hey, win, do whatever you do to have to win, right? And then DiBiase is over there. He's looking at Luger. I think I could be a little off with the way it happened, but this is pretty much what happened. As soon as Luger turns his back, Tatanka just comes up and starts chopping Luger on the back, those vicious knife-edge chops, and then he just attacks this man and just beats him up more. He stomps him, he kicks him, and he does the fall-away slam on him. And then we see DiBiase giving instructions to Tatanka, and then Jerry Lawler was like, hey, look, he just spoke to Tatanka. Wow. And then McMahon was like, Lex Luger's not the one that sold out. It's Tatanka that sold out. And then while they were leaving the ring embracing each other, Tatanka said, we fooled you, Luger, and the whole stinking country. And then DiBiase was like, you know what, give him a little more. So Tatanka goes back, continues to beat on Luger, then places him in the $1 Million Dream. Has him in the $1 Million Dream. Luger passes out, and then the ultimate humiliation, the $100 bill stuffed down in the throat of the man made in the USA, Lex Luger. Tatanka's heel turn was one of my favorite things growing up as a kid. And this here at this SummerSlam in 94 showed you why they did a wonderful, wonderful job at this. Okay, my number one pick for the top heel turn of all time. Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage split on the main event, February of 1989. It was Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man Randy Savage taking on the Big Boss Man and Akeem. Very good match up here. We saw Akeem throw the Macho Man outside onto Miss Elizabeth, and Miss Elizabeth took a hell of a bump. She just when Akeem threw Randy Savage out, Randy Savage landed on her and she went flying. Then that would cause Hulk Hogan to go and pick her up and carry her back to the dressing room to give her medical attention. And then Macho Man would stay out there, seemingly in a 2-on-1 situation, being beat down by the Twin Towers. And then Hulk Hogan, he did spend a lot of time backstage there with Miss Elizabeth, saying, oh, get a doctor, please save her, blah, blah, blah. Trying to tell her it was an accident. What happened to you? Randy didn't mean to do it. Are you okay? Because she took quite the bump. And then after some time, she tells Hogan, go back out there and help Randy. Randy needs you. So then Hogan goes back in the ring, right? Eventually, Randy, he fights off, during the match, he happens to fight off both the Big Boss Man and Akeem. At this point, Hulk Hogan comes back to the ring, reaches for the tag, and Macho Man, instead of tagging, he tagged him all right, but he tagged him, boom, like this, with a hard, vicious slap right across the face. And Randy Savage just jumps out of the ring, and he says, he waves like this to Hogan, bye, grabs his championship, and he leaves. In the end, Hulk Hogan Hulk Hogan ends up defeating the Big Boss Man and Akeem in that matchup. And then he goes backstage and he looks for Savage. And then he said, "What are you doing, Randy?" When he catches up with him, he sees Randy by Miss Elizabeth's bedside. And then Hulk Hogan, he's like, "What are you doing, Randy? Come on, man. Come on. What are you doing? We're brothers." And then Randy's like, if you want a one-on-one match, you just have to come to me like a man. And I know you got lust for Elizabeth. You got lust in your eyes for my wife, for Miss Elizabeth. And then Hulk is like, "Get your finger out of my face. Get your finger out of my face, brother." And then he's telling Miss Elizabeth, "Try to talk some sense into this man. Try to talk some sense into this man." And he has his back turned. So Randy grabs the championship, and then boom, he nails Hogan with the title. Then he gets down and he pummels Hogan right in the forehead. He just punches him. And then we saw Brutus Beefcake try to come in and try to help out, but Randy nailed him for his trouble. He took care of Beefcake like in a second. He just I think he nailed him in the midsection, and then he punched him right in the face or something. And Beefcake went falling down to the ground. And this would lead to their most famous match at WrestleMania 5. About 2 months later, when Hulk Hogan defeated Macho Man Randy Savage for the WWF Championship at WrestleMania 5. Okay, so there you are, ladies and gentlemen. That is my top 10 heel turns of all time. I hope you enjoyed this list. If you have any other heel turns, feel free to share it in the comment section below. And these are just my personal top 10 heel turns. I do have more that I did not put on this list. I normally like to limit these lists that I make to 10 being a top 10. So these are just some of the ones I enjoyed the most over the years. All right, ladies and gentlemen, take care. Have a good one. And I'll see you guys again in the very near future with another video. Peace.